It's a lot of people who could play and could compete at those high levels if they had the chance. I speak for myself by me saying that.
Trae Jefferson, born July 8th, 1995. Mr. Ballislife. Salute to Ballislife, one of the OG basketball YouTube platforms that almost 10 years ago first featured Trae Jefferson, the 5'7" YouTube sensation that actually had a shot at the NBA. In those 10 years, Jefferson cooked his defenders nearly 40 minutes a game with his fearless rim attacks, ankle breakers, and crafty passes. We've all seen the stories of diminutive point guards that were great in high school, but that's where it stopped. Until Trae Jefferson showed us at his height he could go straight to a Division I program and become its second leading scorer right away on a team that made the NCAA tournament. Then, in his sophomore season, lead the NCAA for most of the season in 2018 until youth, immaturity, and the YouTube sensation curse got the best of him. With 2 successful college basketball seasons under his belt, averaging 18.7 points a game, NCAA tournament experience, and an upcoming junior year that was sure to see him as one of the bright faces of college basketball, it wouldn't be at all out of place to see and hear Trae Jefferson's name among the ones talked about as an NBA draft prospect. Quietly at Texas Southern and HBCU on the rise in large part thanks to Trae Jefferson, the little guy was changing history and breaking records almost weekly. He averaged more than Earl Boykins, Muggsy Bogues, and Spud Webb as freshmen and sophomores, shot much better, especially in his second year from 3, posting 39%, attempting 8 a game. His final organized outing was in an NCAA tournament game, posting 20 points, 7 assists, and 4 steals, playing the entire game. If that's not how you'd want to go out, I don't know what is. What's sad is Trae Jefferson had to go out at all. I've gotten lots of requests over the years for small point guards beloved on YouTube and social media along with Trae Jefferson, and never thought I'd see this be the path he'd take, as other than all those players, Jefferson really could ball, and in organized high-level basketball at that. He had just the right size chip on his shoulder, just the right sized it factor as a player that makes it seem the game comes so easy to him, a whole lot of heart, and even more of a fan base. A Trae Jefferson in the NBA in 2022 would definitely fill the seats. Box office star qualities. At one point, everything was working in his favor on the court. With a little luck, the right attitude, and an almost certain record-breaking final 2 years of eligibility, who knows how far Trae Jefferson could have taken it. Maybe even this era's exciting little man in a league they maybe have gone extinct forever. What happened to Trae Jefferson? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Trae Jefferson was a 5'7" point guard from North Milwaukee, Wisconsin with big dreams. It started 8 years old with him just wanting to get on the court with the older, much bigger 13-year-olds, sitting in the center of the court if they didn't let him pick next. Early on, he realized his height was always going to either make or break him. Broken was not an option. He began being featured on YouTube in 2013 by numerous channels, namely Ballislife, who named him Mr. Ballislife after all his clips began to go viral. He was unstoppable, especially with his Milwaukee Rebels AAU team and teammate Kevon Looney of the Golden State Warriors, who deferred to Jefferson as the star and leader of the team. Trae was used to putting on shows in a gym full of college coaches, all eyes glued to his every move, yet none of them would take him until Mike Davis gave him an opportunity to be a star if he wanted it. Things started off great. Stunt number 1, attitude mattered.
Take responsibility for those suspensions. It's misunderstandings. A lot of those situations lasted longer than they had to due to egos and pride.
It would be neglectful to tell you that size doesn't matter in basketball. In a sport of giants, it absolutely does, but isn't the determining factor. No matter what size you are, there will most likely always be someone that takes size advantage out of your favor. Partially for this reason, the smallest position has always been the most exciting, because to see such a small player overcome their disadvantages on each play with their ball handling, creative finishes, and athleticism, even by simply being more crafty, is admirable and a testament to their heart and extra hours spent trying to catch up. In rare occasions, there's a Trae Jefferson, a small guy that played like their gift from God was to play basketball. Like they do things or make certain shots that seem so natural and completely erased any advantage the defense may have had. For him, I can honestly say size did not matter on the court. What did, on and off of it, was reportedly his personality that always seemed to get in the way of his altitude. Leaving high school, he would usually find himself one of the best players in the gym, even against top level. But when things weren't going right, his attitude would get the best of him, and according to some, it turned off a lot of top schools, leaving him to spend a year in a prep school in South Carolina to help improve his interests. But attitude concerns left him to choose HBCU Texas Southern University, where he came in and immediately became one of the team's leaders. He averaged 14 points as a freshman, playing 32 minutes a game in a Mike Davis offense that completely allowed him to become what he was as a sophomore. That year, he started out scoring at least 20 points or more in the first 12 of his 14 games, exploding for 34, 8, and 7, 2 games before being suspended for violating team rules. His second suspension. The first was a few games after throwing a punch at a player in a dust-up after a hard foul. His final suspension would be just that, final. Suspended again by Coach Davis at the end of his sophomore year, making this the last time we'd see him in that environment. Stunt number 2, not worth the risk. This is how most schools felt about Trae Jefferson when they learned the point guard that was top 10 in college basketball in scoring at 23 points a game, 39% from 3, taking 8 a game, along with almost 5 assists and 37 minutes per game, doing that all in a season he lost his father, had entered the transfer portal. Coach Mike Davis took a job at Detroit Mercy, the only coach in the nation that would let Trae come in and be him from day one, forcing Trae to want a fresh start elsewhere. Some suspected it would be a move right alongside Davis in Detroit, but that never happened and no other team picked him up. One of the best players in the nation months ago, and no team wanted to take the risk because of his attitude that led to all his suspensions. It's 2022 now, and he hasn't played another college basketball game since. With a successful junior year, which was likely to happen as good and more comfortable he became after 2 years, he could have positioned himself as a hot name in the draft, or at least build on a possible legacy as one of the best little men of this era. Of course, get his degree. But his baggage made the risk not worth the reward.
Just trying to just overcoming everything and just accepting everything that comes my way and making it positive.
Stunt number 3, left it alone. For whatever reason, Trae Jefferson just, I guess, left basketball alone. I get there were attitude concerns, but this was too good a player even at his size to not get another opportunity somewhere else, even as a pro overseas making good money. I've seen a lot worse attitudes that got multiple fresh starts. Leads me to think that at some point, basketball and coming back to it in a timely fashion was no longer a focus for Trae. Since 2020, it seems he's attempting a run at a rap career, seen in videos in a much different light than he earned the name Mr. Ballislife in. And you know what? The music isn't bad at all. But it's difficult to see him go from such potential as a player, what's more, a college student with a chance to achieve an education almost no one else in those videos likely has, to the path I have to assume are facts based on his lyrics and imagery. All in all, I do wish the best for Trae Jefferson. I really liked his game and what he could have potentially been for basketball in this era. Even at his size, he had a great opportunity, but that, as far as basketball, has faded away. Who knows, maybe he's the next big thing in music. But for these reasons, his growth was stunted. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.